But that's the only bit of sunshine we got on this season, I think. It's not bad though, is it? Beautiful day, absolutely beautiful day. But lots of beautiful news, really. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit annoyed. So, news broke last night that Crysencio Summerville's had an operation. He's undergone surgery on his injured hamstring. This has really, really annoyed me, actually, I've got to be honest. And because it was very clear for quite some time ago now that he needed this operation. It wasn't a case of that it was, you can have it done, but it's not sure, it's up to you kind of thing. It was a case of, he was advised by his medical team, the club's medical team and external medical people that he needed an operation. And the player refused it. Just a bit of back history then, so before we'll talk about it a bit more. Back in January, this is Graham Potter's first game in charge. It was the FA Cup game against Aston Villa. We lost, because you believe it, we actually lost. Yeah, I know you went, yeah, we did. Played well, played all right, but lost. Actually, to be fair, it was one of them. I think it was the game when, I think it was the day after Potter's signed. So he'd only been with the team for a day. Two good, really outstanding performers in that game were Nicholas Fulkrug, who injured his hamstring and was out for months afterwards, and Crysencio Summerville. And what was really strange is at the time, when Fulkrug did his hamstring, he looked really uncomfortable. You could see he hobbled off the pitch. It looked in a bad way. You could see straight away this is a serious injury. With Summerville, it didn't. Summerville, you could see he hurt his hamstring, but he was okay. He wasn't in agony. He wasn't in a lot of pain. He walked off okay. So at the time, well, certainly when I was watching it, I thought, okay, he doesn't know, that's a blow. We don't want this, but hope maybe a couple of weeks out. And then after that, it broke from the update from the football club. That was the feeling. It was 2 to 3 weeks, a hamstring strain. And then the West Ham United mystery injury scenario kicked in. Oh, it might be a month. Oh, it might need an operation. Oh, it went on and on. The constant changing. We never knew what it was. Very confusing, like we usually go. Then the player has to go abroad and all this kind of stuff starts, you know. We've had it so many times. So many players have done this now. Skamaka, Cornet, pretty sure Slashin Hilaire did it when he had to go away. We do it quite a lot, don't we? The player gets injured and all of a sudden we never know what the problem is. Anyway, I digress. Then, and I can't remember, I should probably find out the date of this, but it was about 3 months ago. It was sort of tail end of February, March time. Basically, Summerville was coming back. Was pictured in training, was coming back from injury, and it was all okay, brilliant. And then there was news that he had reoccurred the injury. Now, this is where my confusion is right with this. I've been told that that the hamstring injury was not the same as the one that he did against Aston Villa. But I just struggled to believe that. I'd never really bought that the people said, no, it was different. It was a separate injury. I'm not saying it wasn't. It's just I struggled to buy that. So he came back from a hamstring injury, just came back to train, then he's done his hamstring, but it's a different injury. Okay, all right. I'm not quite sure, right? But so I'm going to leave that as a bit of a question mark. My belief is that it was the same. He reoccurred the injury, right? And then, following the scans and all that afterwards, that's when the club said, and the doctors, medical team, hospital, whatever, said, you need an operation. And this is where my frustration comes in, because Summerville then refused it. Refused the operation. No, I don't want to have an operation. I'm going to recover on my own terms. I didn't like it, to be honest. I really don't like that. I get it if they said 50-50, you can have the operation, but however, we suggest you have an operation, but actually you probably can recover as well. It's up to you. That was never the case with this. This was very much a case of, you need to have this operation, this is what needs to happen, and he didn't want to do it. And he's ignored the medical team. Then we heard from Summerville's side of it, was that he was confident he was going to be back end of April. This is now. That was what we got told. The player feels that he'll be back available end of April. He would be recovering. With his pictures of he went to abroad and he was working on his fitness. He's shown videos of him running around and all this sort of stuff, and putting tweets up, wasn't he? Or on tweets or Instagram, whatever, and saying sort of loading and all this sort of stuff. I haven't got a word for word, but putting these sort of suggesting that he was recovering. And now end of April arrives, and there he is on a hospital bed after having his operation. So he needed the operation, and this is the bit that's really bloody annoyed me is that he's now this is now affecting in terms of when he recovers. Now, so we've now had this delay. He's now going to be out for until he's going to miss the whole next pre-season because of this, and probably the start of next season. Like, so we're now in a position where we've lost our player, a key player, this season. Because bearing in mind that they believe that this whole Summerville decision has knocked him for a few months. He knocked a few months. Basically, he would have been back if he'd had the operation at the right time. He'd have been back by April. He's probably missed about the last 5 games. He could have roughly 4 or 5 games. So he's probably missed about 8 games this season, and he's now going to probably miss a couple next season. I don't know. Well, we don't know, do we? Because West Ham and it's an injury, so he probably won't play for another 5 years. Knowing our luck. But jokes aside, like, I'm really annoyed by this. Like, we really, really need him. Like, why was it that he didn't have this operation? And then in the end, he's just got, oh, okay, I'll have it done anyway. Because what's now happened as well, he has further complicated the injury. The injury now is far worse because he decided to start running on air and trying to recover himself. And it's now made the injury much worse. And what the words were, far more complicated. So now he's now going to be recovering and he won't be back now to, probably, let's be honest, probably September time. That's my guess. He will miss the whole of pre-season. This is not what we bloody need. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've had a tough enough season as it is. And for me, if you're a player, your desire should be to get back out on the pitch. By the way, I just want to get really clear. I love Summerville. He was a great player for us, but I'm not impressed with this. All right? I think he's a really... That's what's annoying me about it. If it's a fringe player or someone who was not had much of an impact on the team, it wouldn't bother me so much. But Summerville, I saw, especially what we saw of him working under Potter just for that first game, he was really impressive. He worked really well. It just pissed me right off. So now we're without Summerville for pre-season and start of next season, all because he decided that he was going to ignore all the medical advice. It's just not good. Really not good. Really bad news. But at least he's had the operation. I suppose that's the only positive, and hopefully now we can start a plan to see him back in action. But my word, a hamstring injury that's taken him out from got it in January. He's not going back till September. 8 months. I mean, you having a laugh? Absolute joke. So yeah, really unimpressed overall, to be honest. That's really, I've known for a while, to be honest, that the club was so angry. I know that the hierarchy were really unimpressed with him for not having this operation. So unfortunately, despite us all wanting him to be proven right, that he's recovered, he's back fit, it hasn't, which I suspected would be the case. So yeah, annoying. Got a video coming out later. Got some transfer bits to talk about, and I want to talk about the club's finances as well, because that's something that's also annoy me quite somewhat in terms of what's coming out from David Sullivan, etc. So we'll talk about that a bit more later on. Have a good one. Take care and come on your ones.